Have a pleasant day to each and everyone. I am Champagne G. Ayuban, and now I will be the one who discuss the elements of flexibility of learning. According to Collis and van der Wint 2002, mentioned some considerations of achieving flexibility concerning instructional delivery mode. The first one is where and when teacher-student interaction will occur. For me, teacher-student interaction can occur in a variety of settings and at various times, both within and outside the traditional classroom environment. For instance, sa atong formal classroom settings, during sa atong mga lessons, this is the most common form where teachers deliver instruction, ask questions, facilitate discussions, and also provide feedback to students. For example, si Ma'am Tandy is explaining a math concept and then asking students to solve problems on the board. Another example is about small group activities. So, teachers can interact with students in smaller groups for more focused instruction or collaborative work. For instance, students working in groups on a science project, with a teacher circulating to provide guidance and answer questions. Another example is one-on-one meetings. Teachers may meet individually with students to discuss academic progress, address concerns, or provide personalized support. The second one is what forms of help can be given as student support. For me, student support encompasses a wide range of services and resources designated to help students succeed academically, emotionally, and socially. These supports can be offered at all levels of education, from elementary school and to higher education. When we say academic support, this focuses on helping students achieve their learning goals. For instance, tutoring, one-on-one or small group instruction to help students understand challenging concepts or improve specific skills. For example, a math tutor helping a student struggling with algebra. Second example is assistive technology. Tools and resources to support students with learning disabilities or other needs. For example, screen readers for students with visual impairments or text-to-speech software for students with dyslexia. Social and emotional support. This focuses on students' well-being and mental health. For instance, counseling services, providing access to professional counselors for individual or group therapy to address emotional, social, or mental health concerns. For example, a school counselor helping a student cope with anxiety or bullying. Peer support groups, facilitated groups where students can share experiences and support each other. For example, a support group for students dealing with grief or loss. Another example is social skills training, programs designated to help students develop and improve their social skills. For instance, a workshop on how to communicate effectively and resolve conflicts. Extracurricular activities, opportunities for students to engage in sports, clubs, and other activities to build social connections and develop interest. Example, joining the school's debate team or volunteering at a local animal shelter. The third one is what technology is available for all and will be required to be used. As a 21st century generation, several technologies are becoming increasingly essential and widely adopted, often required for various aspects of daily life. As technology continues to evolve, it's very important to stay informed about new developments and adapt to the changing landscape for education. Online learning platforms, digital textbooks, and research resources require internet access. For example, smartphones and mobile devices. Mobile phones provide access to learning resources anytime and anywhere, making education more flexible and accessible. The fourth one is which among the communication channels is available for all to use. For me, many communication channels exist. Written communication is arguably the most universally accessible. For instance, accessibility through technology. With the rise of the internet and mobile devices, written communication has become even more accessible, like email, text messaging, and social media platforms are all examples of widely used written communication channels. The fifth one is what are the components of the instructional design suited for the instructional delivery model. Instructional design is the process of creating learning experiences that enable learners to acquire knowledge and skills. It involves a systematic approach to planning, developing, and delivering instructions. It includes learning objectives. These are statements that describe what learners should be able to do after completing the instruction. They should be specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bounded or SMART. For example, after completing this module, learners will be able to identify and describe the key features of the four main types of clouds. Learner analysis. This involves understanding the learner's characteristics such as their prior knowledge, skills, motivation, and learning styles. This information is used to tailor the instruction to meet their needs. Content analysis. This involves identifying and organizing the content that will be taught. It includes determining the scope and sequence of the content, as well as the level of detail that will be provided. Instructional strategies. These are the methods that will be used to deliver the instruction. They can include lectures, discussions, activities, simulations, and online learning modules. Assessment. This involves determining how learners will be evaluated to measure their learning. It can include tests, quizzes, assignments, and projects. Evaluation. This involves determining the effectiveness of the instruction. It can include gathering feedback from learners as well as analyzing their performance on assessments. Instructional delivery models are the various ways in which instruction can be delivered to learners. Some common models include traditional classroom instruction. This involves a teacher presenting information to a group of learners in classroom setting. Second is online learning. This involves delivering instruction through the internet. It can include a variety of formats such as online courses, webinars, and videos. Third is blended learning. This involves combining traditional classroom instruction with online learning. Last is self-directed learning. This involves learners taking responsibility for their own learning. They may have used variety of resources such as books, websites, and mentors. Bradley Noonan, Nugent, and Scales 2008 and Distance Education Journal 2017 gave some ideas on how the flexibility of learning can be ensured in whatever delivery mode of instructions. The first one is designing the learning experience. Teachers need to prudently choose outcomes and activities on how instruction should be delivered in a way that all learners could afford. For example, Resource accessibility. Do students have access to necessary materials like books, internet, technology? Time constraints. Are activities realistic within the school day and students out of school commitments? Cognitive load. Is the content presented in a way that is manageable for all learners considering varying learning paces and styles? Ensuring accessibility. This means catering to diverse learning needs. Differentiated instruction. Adapting teaching methods and materials to suit different learning styles and abilities. Inclusive practices. Creating a classroom environment where all students feel valued and supported. Assistive technologies. Utilizing tools and resources to help students with disabilities access the curriculum. The second one is designing content-learner interaction. Teachers need to reshape the presentation of the content so that all learners can understand even when teacher supervision is reduced. With reduced teacher supervision, the onus is on well-designed content to facilitate learning. Teachers need to shift from being the primary deliverer of information to being facilitators of learning. This means content must be engaging, accessible, and promote self-directed learning. For instance, visual aids and multimedia. The problem is text-heavy content can be dry and difficult to process, especially for visual learners. And the solution is incorporate visual aids like diagrams, charts, graphs, images, and videos. Multimedia can make learning more engaging and cater to different learning styles. For example, use a diagram to illustrate the different stages of mitosis or a short video to explain graphs can present data in a visually appealing and easily digestible way. The third one is structuring learner engagement with the instructional environment. This idea of flexibility, something to do with the use of educational technology tools, meaning teachers need to careful something among the instructional media and methods of engagement that are available to all students. Example, using mobile devices and planning for innovative use of flexible accessible space. For example, flexibility instructional media and methods. This refers to offering diverse ways for students to interact with content and demonstrate their understanding. It acknowledges that learners have different styles and needs. Technology can be a powerful enabler of this flexibility. Another one is innovative use of flexible accessible space. The physical learning environment should also be flexible and adaptable to different learning activities. Technology can play a role in creating these spaces. For example, movable furniture. Arrange classrooms with movable desks and chairs to facilitate group work, individually study, or whole class discussions. The fourth one is structuring learner-teacher feedback engagement. Means teachers need to provide feasible choices for the students to choose regarding the mode on how they can interact with their tutors and mentors. Additionally, teachers need to choose the available mode on how students can access feedback about their learning progress. Teachers can provide a range of interaction modes to suit students' needs and the nature of the feedback or guidance required. Example, one-on-one meetings. Ideal for personalized feedback, addressing individual concerns, and building rapport. Another example, group discussions. Encourages collaborative learning, peer feedback, and diverse perspectives. Another example, online forums, provides a platforms for asynchronous communication, allowing students to reflect and ask questions at their own pace. Effective feedback is crucial for students' learning and development. To maximize its impact, teachers should offer students choices in how they interact with tutors and mentors and how they receive feedback on their progress. This approach empowers students, promotes ownership of their learning, and caters to diverse learning styles and preferences. Next one is establishing learner engagement with an assessment of learning. Learners need to know their options on how to get grades in their learning. How can educators provide learners with options for getting grades? First is clearly define the grading system. Explain the different components of the grading system such as assignments, quizzes, tests, projects, and participation. Clearly state the weight of each component in the final grade. Second is offer a variety of assessment methods. Provide students with different ways to demonstrate their learning. For example, traditional assessments, tests, quizzes, essays, alternative assessments, projects, presentations, portfolios, debates, role-playing, self-assessments, reflections, journals, self-evaluations, peer assessments, feedback on classmates' work. Provide rubrics and expectations. Give students clear rubrics and expectation for each assignment. This will help them understand what is expected of them and how their work will be evaluated. Increasing flexibility using technology and education. Technology enhances flexibility in education, but its effective use hinges on learner accessibility and suitability. Everyone should have the chance to use technology for learning. This means having reliable internet access, affordable devices, and assistive tools for those with disabilities. The technology should be appropriate for the learning goals and the learner's needs. This means choosing tools that are easy to use, engaging, and support different learning styles can empower learners to study anytime, anywhere, and at their own pace. The focus should always be on how technology can enhance learning outcomes for all students. Teachers should not just pick technology because it's available or trendy. They need to carefully consider which tools are the best support. The passage concludes by reiterating the successful technology integration starts with putting learners first and carefully considering the pedagogical approach. In other words, the why and the how of teaching should drive technology choices, not the other way around.